Hey y'all, if you are out there, say hello. I am joined today by Haley. We're going to wait for a couple of y'all to pop in and then we're going to get our conversation started. How you doing today, Haley?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I feel energized, busy, but
Yes.
focused.
I absolutely love your shirt, by the way. I don't think that I have that one. So I'm very jealous right now that you have a "This is what a president looks like" shirt and I don't. But you are absolutely what a president looks like. So I completely agree with the sentiment. Hey Shantae, hey Tony, hey Rita, hey Carol, hey Monica. I didn't live stream yesterday because I had an issue at home. So I'm actually in a staycation a little bit, kind of at a hotel not too far from my house, just to get out the house. And I'm
Mhm.
so happy because I've had cabin fever from being at home every night for the past 5 months, which is the exact opposite of anything you would ever see happen. So that's why my setup looks a little different, but gotta make it work. Hey, Helena. Hey, Liana. Tony, Elizabeth, Champ. Champ says, I'm very excited for the show. So I have been telling people that we're going to have a chat. And so folks are ready to for us to have this conversation. It's not my normal time. So I don't know if we'll have as many people as normal, but it's okay because people can see it anytime.
Yeah.
Hey, Jackie. Hey, Emerald. Elizabeth says, excellent shirt, Haley.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
people are going to be jealous because I think we all thought we had a little bit more time to like go back and buy
Mhm.
something.
Mhm.
And no. But you found out today I'm a procrastinator. So that's why I missed out. And you obviously are not. So that's why you have that shirt.
I love it.
Hey, Jason. Hey, Lisa. She says, I keep checking Kamala's website and hope she starts selling apparel soon. I know. Can we get some black market apparel? Anybody order some extra shirts? Hey, Christine, Jason, the Misty Wallace, Justice says, you're both so pretty. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Robin and Ladybug. Okay, Haley. So I'm going to introduce you to my followers. Welcome to Unboss Unfiltered Live. And I'm just going to give them your incredibly impressive bio. So I'm going to read it off because why reinvent the wheel? So that you out there can hear a little bit about Haley before we get started. So Haley is starting her second year of law school at SMU Dedman School of Law in May 2019. She graduated with honors with a Bachelor of Science degree from Texas Women's University College of Professional Education. She is an elected Joe Biden delegate to the Democratic National Convention from Texas. Haley is pursuing a career as an attorney where she hopes to advocate for education equity and greater access to gifted and talented programs for students of colors and girls. Wow. Wow. That is so great. And also, let me just add in here that you graduated from high school at age 13. And I don't know if it says here, but yeah, so you actually graduated from college in 3 years. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about, I mean, you have to be a genius, right? To have these kinds, don't be modest. It's okay to say yes. How did you, I mean, you're by definition ambitious to have that kind of bio at your age. How did that come about? How did you become a graduate at 13? How does that happen?
Yeah, I mean, like, long story short, I was in fifth grade when my mom started to notice that I wasn't as passionate and interested in school as she wanted me to be and as I used to be. And so she thought maybe I wasn't being challenged, like maybe I was bored in class. So she requested I
Mm,
get tested for the gifted and talented program, but they denied because they said you're only allowed to take it in kindergarten, which was not true because students who weren't of color were taking the test, but I just wasn't allowed to. Like I was like one of the only ones who couldn't. So my mom didn't take no for an answer, pulled me out, had me privately tested, and I came back as highly gifted. So she decided to homeschool me, and that is where my
okay.
path just took off. So she started homeschooling me at 11, and then I graduated high school at 13. I went to Texas Women's University, and like you said, 3 years later, I got my bachelor's of a bachelor's of science in education from Texas Women's University. And now I am 17 and entering my second year at SMU. So my mom is to thank for everything.
I love that she didn't take no for an answer, because I know I was tested for the gift and talent education program too, and I was not in kindergarten. I was like in elementary school. So it's complete BS that, they said that you can't get tested later in life. So that's fantastic. So you have your first year under your belt. How was that experience? Did you find that people kind of were, like a little weary of you because of your age, or did you find that people were very welcoming and it's all about like your talent and your intellect that they were interested in?
Yeah, it was the latter. They weren't really like apprehensive or threatened by my age, which was really nice. I appreciated that. They didn't really. It wasn't really a topic of conversation. Like when they met me, it wasn't like, "Oh my God, you're the 17-year-old." Like, of course, it came up inevitably.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
wasn't something where it's like, "Oh, like I'm Haley, not the 17-year-old." So it was really
Exactly.
nice for them to like recognize me as a peer and a law student rather than like a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was really nice. In the first year of law school, it was difficult. I can attest to the fact that learning law, especially in the first year, is like learning a whole new language, but arguably more frustrating because it is in English. So it was like
Yeah.
it's like not a new language. So you can
Right,
understand
right.
words individually, but together, it's so
Yeah.
it was something that takes a little bit of practice, but you have a whole year to practice it. So it was a fantastic experience. I loved my first year and all the classes. So I had a good
And
time.
what was your favorite? What was your
My
favorite area
favorite,
that you studied?
God, it's always switched back and forth, but I think I can definitely say it's crim law. That was my favorite. Torts was
Okay.
a really, really close second, but crim law
Okay.
class.
Okay, that's exciting. So you wrote this brilliant article in the Grio, because you raised your voice and you saw that there was all of this misogyny and these tropes that were really harmful in terms of the way that this discussion about the VP stakes have been going on. What drove you? I mean, obviously you're young and you're ambitious and you're talented, so you know how to make things happen. But actually getting an editorial published, I know from experience, this was my first time getting one published just last week. It's not that easy. So how did that process come about where you said, you know what, it's not just good enough to tweet about it. I have to actually write an article and get this published.
Yeah, I'm turning 18 in like God 9 days, so I get to vote in this upcoming election, and that was one of
Okay.
the things that really drove me to write this and then speak out. I've always been outspoken, but write this op-ed, that was one of the main driving factors because we need more Black women in leadership. And so
Yeah.
when I heard that, well, I had heard a long time ago, but when the rumors and stuff that Senator Harris was going to be chosen as vice president, I was like, oh yeah, let's do that. That's a great idea. We need to
Yeah.
do that. And so, but there, all these other rumors about her being ambitious, and they didn't mean it in the good way, and her rubbing people the wrong way. It was like
Hmm.
that was something where obviously I felt if you're going to talk about Senator Harris, that's something to talk about. How
Yeah.
she gets this, this hate basically, and
Hmm.
people question her blackness, and people question
Hmm.
her, I guess, her blackness, her being a cop. Like it's just these things that she has to deal with that it's important to talk about because it makes her not only like a very amazingly strong woman, it makes her
Right.
ambitious, to because going into running for president, being selected for vice president, that you're probably gonna get hate. Not everybody's gonna like you. When you choose a
Yeah.
party, you already lost the other party, so people aren't gonna like you.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
already ambitious to run for president, but then to deal
Hmm.
with the things that she's had to deal with, it was like, and then on top of that, I get to vote, so I hopefully get to vote for her. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, this is something I have to write about. So that was the driving factor.
Okay. And it's so interesting, because, I started really advocating for Kamala, shortly after she announced in terms of going hard. But what really made me go hard for her is a couple of things. Number one, I just didn't see this blanket of support and protection around her. As we know, and Malcolm X says that Black women are some of the least protected, women in the country. And so I was like, okay, well, that's missing. Number one, she should have more support. She's a historic candidate. She's incredibly talented and qualified. where are the voices that are fighting back for all of this, negativity towards her? But another thing that always stood in my mind were people like you, young Black women, young adults, kids. You're not a kid, obviously. You're a second year law student and you're 17, you're about to be 18.
Yeah.
But I always had a Haley in the back of my mind of thinking, I don't want them to hear this message that a Black woman, like you said, you're not Black enough, or that you aren't for us, sis, the skin folk and kin folk and all of that. I didn't want them to hear that message and be discouraged, because that is a generational thing. Both of us are too young to have grown up where Shirley Chisholm ran. Senator Kara Mosley Braun ran for president as well. But I'll be honest, I wasn't really all that engaged in that election. So for me, this was the first time seeing a Black woman run a credible campaign for president. And I wanted to make sure that Black girls got the right message from this. And so that's what really led me to do all the things that I've been doing for a year and 8 months now. But seeing your editorial really, really validated for me, okay, this is not in my head. This is important. It is important to young Black women like you. And so I thank you, because that is one of the things that just rejuvenates me. And I know, I have a sneaking suspicion that people like you are exactly the kinds of folks that are keeping Senator Harris going through, pushing through and holding herself high through this process. So let's talk a little bit about your editorial. I pulled out a couple of quotes that I really loved. Let's start with this one. Let's see. They do not fear Senator Harris for her ambitions. They fear her because of a generation of Black girls who are watching, and that we will follow her example to pursue excellence. Tell me a little bit about that. Expand on that thought that you wrote in your article.
Yeah, I look at my peers and I look at myself. My peers, I've navigated, as you can imagine, all 3 age groups. I'm 17, so I have friends who are in high school. I have an undergraduate degree, so I have friends who are in undergrad. And then I'm in law school, so I have friends who are in graduate school. And all of them are my peers. And I look at all of them and I see how motivating it is to see powerful women in positions of leadership. And I see how moving it is for my little sister, for example, or for me or for my friends, to watch her speak, to watch her fully be ambitious in the best way possible. It's so motivating to see something like that. And that's what they fear. They fear that we'll be motivated by her ambition, that we'll be ambitious, that we'll have the audacity to be ambitious like she does. That's what they don't fear her. She's already ambitious. She's already out there. She's already amazing. They fear that she's going to encourage more amazing people. They fear that we're going to rise up, and Generation Z is going to be the another generation with double the powerful Black women. That's what they fear. And that's why if they can shut her down, other Black women who are younger than her will hopefully learn from her that, you know your place. You know that you're not supposed to be in leadership. You know that that's a little bit too bold. It just rubs people the wrong way. They just kind of, it's just a friction that people don't like. Like, no, they know that seeing her motivates us. And so they can shut her down. We'll be scared that we'll be shut down with her. But what they don't realize is that leaders are inevitable. I mean, when you have a group of people, there's somebody's going to be a leader. And if not Kamala Harris, if you somehow manage to shut down Senator Harris, there's going to be another one and another, because she's already motivated. She's already impacted me. It's too late. It's too late. And I'm already talking to you, and my sister can hear me. So it's too late. My sister's motivated now. You can't stop power. You can't stop motivation. You can't stop ambition. So that's what that meant. Like, that's not really what they're scared of. They look at her and it's too late. She's already living her absolute best life. They're scared that other people will follow.
Did y'all hear that? It's too late. It's inevitable. Okay? Preaching the whole word, girl. Okay, you showing me up on my own show. You just preaching. I'm normally the one preaching, but I love every single bit of it. It's too late. It's too late.
Yep.
Kamala is already there, and she has already motivated the next generation of leaders. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, because it's really, it would be so disappointing to me after all of this if the message that people took away from this is that you do have to stay in your place, that it is not your time, and that you do have to wait. And so to hear you say these words, I feel encouraged, regardless of the outcome, that it's too late to send that message, because the real message that's been received loudly and clearly is that this is what a president looks like, and that we are leaders and we are going to step up no matter what. So really, thank you for that. That is just absolutely incredible. Um, and the people, let me tell you, the comments that I'm getting are, yeah. I'm, be clear, I'm clipping that whole part and I'm making sure that I post it again so people hear what you have to say. And you're right. I think that's something that, Senator Harris is living her best life. At the end of the day, she's a senator. She is the second Black woman to extend to that. She's the highest ranking Black woman in government. So she good, technically. Okay. She good. It's so this isn't about her having more in terms of, she's already made history. She's already such an important person, and she will continue to be. But it's really about the message that is sent. But I am so happy to hear that. Like you said, it's too late. But I also love what you said, because one of the things that sometimes people like to say, and they like to lie on her about, and say that she's not an inspirational figure, that she's not a person that connects with different people. They try to say that she doesn't, Black people aren't feeling her. You actually had a chance to meet Senator Harris. And you left very inspired by that. And so I'm not going to repeat what's in the article. Why don't you tell us, as if we didn't read the article, what was your experience like meeting Senator Harris?
It was by every definition of phenomenal is what it was. I was so honored to be able to introduce her. I was so happy, and I didn't know when I was told I was gonna get to introduce her. I didn't know that it was gonna be me who gets to meet her backstage. I thought by the time she got there, I'd already be out introducing her, and then she goes, and I go in. So it wouldn't be something where I get an opportunity to talk to her. And she, as you can tell, she's already a huge inspiration to me. Huge. But the fact that I got to talk to her, to hear what she had to say, there is a difference between hearing a speech on TV and then her telling me directly. So I got to sit there and listen to her, and she's like, you're going to be a world changer. You're phenomenal, and you are what a president looks like, and she's what a president looks like. And it was like I can't even put into words the feeling, where I was like, wow, wow.
Did you get a hug?
I got to introduce her, which was already cool. But then I got to meet her, and I'm like, and she stopped and took a second to talk to me and take a picture with me. It was just, like I said, by every definition of phenomenal. That's what it was.
Yeah. And so you told her, or she was told, that you were 16 going into law school. Did she give you any kind of, specific feedback on that? I mean, I remember in the story you said that her eyes kind of widened. And I know that look, that what Kamala kind of, her eyes, widen, and that warmth comes over her face. Tell me about just that small part of your exchange.
I felt really, really proud that I can impress somebody who impresses me. I'm always so impressed by every time I hear her speak, every action that she's done. I read about her and I'm like, wow, she's just amazing. She's just what? I don't even understand how anybody can dislike her. She's amazing. Yeah. And then for her to be impressed by me, I know that it's an accomplishment to be 16 and in law school, but what she's done, I'm just a law student. She is everything in my dreams. She is the goal, and she's impressed by me. I was and enough to stop and talk to me and take a second to interact and give me advice and say I'm amazing and to keep doing what I'm doing. I was just thank you.
And she told you not to let anybody disparage you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just every motivational word that you can think of. I was
And so you were on this Black Girls Lead, right, conference. It was 1,000 people.
Mhm.
And I know her comments went viral about, they will, they're fine as long as you take what they'll give you. But if you take more, then that's where, the pushback comes in. Tell me a little bit, or tell all of us rather, a little bit about that kind of her speech, and how that impacted you, particularly in the context of all of the things that we're seeing, just the complete avalanche, which it's down back lately because people don't realize they got the memo, and we're not taking this abuse for for
Mhm.
Kamala. But how did that, in that moment, in that context, really impact you, and what was your takeaway from that?
It was as she was one of the first speakers. They had Michelle Obama record,
Mm-hmm.
or at least come and talk, but I'm pretty sure it was a
Mm-hmm.
recording, just because they had to replay it when the sound got messed up. So
Okay.
anyway, she came and Michelle Obama recorded a whole video just for us. And then
Mm-hmm.
after that, Senator Harris actually got on the live stream and started
Mm-hmm.
to talk. And it was
Mm-hmm.
the thing she said, you to see because there was 1,000 girls, as you said. So she's on the live
Yeah.
stream, and then there's a chat on the side. And when they
Mm.
said her name, you couldn't even read a message. Just all of them were just
Oh
everyone was
wow.
celebrating that she's coming. And then she'd say something and you couldn't
Okay.
read it anymore. It would just keep going.
Yeah.
So the entire
Okay.
experience,
Okay.
not just like what she said blew everybody out the water. Like, of course,
Okay.
not expected nothing less. But
Yeah.
then see the young girls' responses, because this is 13 to 18. So these young girls are
Okay.
interested in politics, interested in listening to these speakers, interested in getting
Mm.
engaged. But then to see their response to her. And like I said earlier, it's too late. You can't, even if you shut her down now, even if they did it just now, today, she somehow got shut down and she just went off the grid for some reason. If they were successful,
Yeah.
if they ever could be.
Yeah.
She's already
Yeah.
touched 1,000 people in one day. One day. That was
Mm.
one
Mm.
20-minute
Mm.
talk. And 1,000
Right.
more. You lost. Like,
Right.
when
Right. Right.
Generation Z is in the positions of power, you're gone. Like, not only are we
Exactly.
the first generation that's majority minority, so she's already touched
Mm-hmm.
the majority of Gen Z already because we're
Right.
majority
Right.
minority. You
Right.
the I can't even, like, I don't even, you can't even put her excellence into words.
I love that. And so I'm blown away because, this, it wasn't something that was broadcast, as it was happening, right? We saw a clip about it, and it didn't get any media coverage really. So I'm absolutely blown away because everything you're saying is the complete opposite of what we hear in terms of the narratives about Senator Kamala Harris and her impact on younger people. People say that she doesn't inspire younger voters, and that she doesn't inspire Black voters. And so I'm so incredibly happy to hear, because I say it, but when I say it, it doesn't, because he was like, oh, you're a Kamala fan, so you just love her. But I absolutely loved this to hear from you. And I know I've been in some of those chats, not specifically for Kamala Harris, but when the chat room is just like, oh, you can't keep up. And that's definitely a hint of enthusiasm.
Mhm.
So the last thing I want to talk to you about is that you're a delegate,
Yes.
which I think is incredible. So you had to run a campaign for that, right? Because that's an elected position, or how does that work?
It was. I did run a campaign because it's all virtual with COVID. It was emails and posts rather than maybe going and meeting people and engaging in
Mm-hmm.
social events. But nonetheless, it
Yeah.
was, something that you had to run for. And I did win. And so it's a huge honor. And everything with the DNCs being done virtually again with COVID. But
Mm-hmm.
nonetheless, they sent out the ballots the other day. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
or 2 days ago, and it was so exciting. Like, my dad was
Yeah.
taking pictures of me as I got to click the vote. Like,
Okay.
it's a great experience, even though it's online. It's been a fantastic experience and an honor to be elected.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the next step? So you've already voted. So you've gotten elected. You've already voted. Is there any kind of participation that happens, during the actual convention, or is that still to be determined? Can you give us because listen, I don't have any idea what's going on. Okay. I just saw today that they're not having, speakers fly to Milwaukee. So any insight that you can give us about this convention, which is 12 days from now, I think we'd all be happy to hear.
Yeah, again with COVID, it's all online, so that's something that they're adjusting to. They were really focused on we met 3 days ago to talk about voting and stuff, so that's been their main focus so far is voting. So a lot of details about the convention and all that good stuff with how it's going to work online is yet to be discussed. The voting closes in maybe like a week or something. I think they give 10 days. Whatever. I think after that's going to be over, or right as it's coming to the tail end, is when they're going to be able to give us a lot more details about next steps and events and things after. And so that I'm really looking forward to that. It's every single time you finish one thing with the DNC, another thing's coming. So it's really interesting and exciting because it keeps you engaged. I've been part of programs before where you're not really engaged. You're kind of just sitting there, and it's impactful to listen to, but it's a different level to be engaged and interested in responding. So that's what they're doing. They're doing a really good job, even with COVID, of keeping people engaged and responding. So it's really good.
That's great. And so just to clarify, you're voting for what exactly? Are you voting on just the presidential nominee, or are there other things that you have to vote for? Give us a little bit of insight on that.
Yeah, so far we voted for the presidential nominee. That was the ballot that they gave us a couple days ago. And they also had a floor plan that we could vote on too, but that wasn't nearly as important as the presidential nominee. Okay. So that's the first big thing that we've gotten to vote on. We also voted when I got elected, we voted on that. But the biggest thing that happened most recently was the presidential nominee votes. And then, like I said, that closes in maybe a week or a week and some change. And then next steps.
So exciting. So exciting. So the last question I want to ask you now, I asked you this before we got online, or before we went live, but to whatever extent you want to share with everybody, tell us what you see for your future. In a perfect world, all your dreams come true, which you absolutely have the talent and capacity to make happen, and we will be behind you. Okay, I can tell you that right now. This is campaign ad number one. What do you see for you in the future? What is your goal?
I have big plans. The two biggest plans are to be governor of Texas and then eventually president of the United States. So I'm really excited about both of those things. We need, like I keep saying, like everybody keeps saying, we need more Black women in positions of leadership. And I'm doing an internship this summer, and we were just talking about that, about how we need more women in positions of leadership, whether it be teachers, whether it be doctors, lawyers, or presidents. We need more diversity everywhere. And so it's just for me to obviously see Senator Harris and see all these other, like my mom, a powerful Black woman, my grandma, a powerful Black woman. It just, like I keep saying, it's too late. Even if not Senator Harris, there's another person. I don't understand. We America, this coming generation's majority minority. You literally can't suppress the majority of people. I don't know why they're trying. But
exactly.
Anyway, I'm motivated to get there. Those are obviously big dreams that are 20 years in the future, but it's a dream. I think I'll work my hardest to make it come true.
Well, dream big, Haley. You absolutely can make it come true. You're such an inspiration to me, to everybody on this chat. I'm sure you will be an inspiration to Senator Kamala Harris. Thank you so much for joining me, and to everybody in the chat, thank you so much for joining us. And I will be back tomorrow at my regularly scheduled time, 5 p.m. Eastern, for Unbossed Unfiltered Live. Haley, you are a dream. You are a dream right now, okay? So that's already come true. You're phenomenal. You are just an incredible young Black woman. We're so blessed. I'm so honored to have you on this platform. And I'm just so incredibly inspired, and you've just given me, and I think many people would agree, that kick, because this is the home stretch. We're going to know one way or another, hopefully by this time next week, And so, you know, for everybody out there, if Haley can go this hard for Senator Kamala Harris with all the stuff that she has going on, because trust me, she is a very booked and busy young lady, then you can also keep up the positivity, y'all. Keep up the positivity, and just keep up the advocacy, because it's too late to let the cat is out the bag, and this is inevitable. This is inevitable, this progress. And so some of you are asking, how can you follow Haley on Twitter? I retweeted her tweet, but I will, again, when I post a clip, that sermon that you gave, I will make sure that I tag Haley. Y'all be on the lookout, okay? And I'm listening. I'm sure you've done other stuff, Haley, but 20 years from now, when you are governor of Texas or wherever spectacular moment you're in, I'm gonna be prideful, okay? I'm gonna be like, she was on my show. She was on my show. So again, thank you for this wonderful time that you've spent, and you take a time out of your busy schedule to spend this time with us. So Haley, I'm going to log off from them first, and then I just want to say a couple words to you. So I'm going to end the live stream. Y'all, I will see y'all tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern.